In this lesson, you'll learn how to play Send in the Clowns using either 2 strumming patterns or 2 fingerpicking patterns, and we'll also walk through the fingerstyle solo that comes before the final verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the clowns. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps staring around, one who can't move. Where are the clowns? Send in the clowns. Just when I'd stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one that I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my lines. No one is there. Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. But where are the clowns? Quick, send in the clowns. Don't bother, they're here. Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? Losing my timing this late in my career. But where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Well, maybe next year. You can use high or low G tuning for all 4 patterns in this song. Now I'm using low G tuning, so just keep in mind that if you have high G tuning, the patterns will sound a bit different on your instrument because your 4th string is 1 octave higher than mine. And if you'd like to play the fingerstyle solo, then you do want low G tuning because we do have a few melody notes on the 4th string. Now let's take a look at the chords used in this song. First we'll walk through the chord progression used in the verses and then the chord progression used in the bridge. Now let's start with the chord progression that we use in the verses. We begin on F. Here we have our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then we go to C, the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and you can use your ring finger, or sometimes I use my pinky. Then we go back to F, and then back to C. In line 2, we go to a G6 chord. So here we're covering the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1 with our index and middle fingers. Then we go back to C, and we end line 2 on a beautiful F major 7 chord. Here we have our middle and ring fingers on the 5th fret of strings 3 and 4. Then in line 3 we go back to our F chord, and then to a beautiful C major 7 chord where we're eliminating the 3rd. So usually when we play C major 7, the 2nd string is open. And this is our E note, which is the 3rd in this chord. But instead, we're going to play the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, which is a G note. So we actually have 2 Gs in this chord, on the 4th string and the 2nd string. Then to finish our 3rd line in verse 1, we go back to F, and then back to C major 7, note 3. Now in the 2nd verse, after our C major 7 chord, instead of going back to F, we're going to a D minor 7 chord. Now for this chord, we're going to place our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, our middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 4, and our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. If you find this chord a bit too challenging, then you can play a standard D minor chord. And then after D minor 7, we go back to C. Verses 3 and 4 use all of the same chords that we've just covered in verses 1 and 2. Now let's look at the chord progression that we use in the bridge, starting with a standard C major 7 chord. Here we're playing just the 2nd fret of the 1st string with our index finger. Then we're going to place down our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and our ring finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string to form our E minor chord. Next we have B minor, which is a bar chord. We're going to bar the 2nd fret across all 4 strings using our index finger, and we're going to play the 4th fret of the 4th string using our ring finger. Then after B minor, we go back to E minor, and then in line 2, we go back to B minor, and then back to E minor once more, and we finish line 2 on a C chord. Then in line 3, we go to an E chord. Here we're playing the 2nd fret of the 1st string with our index finger, and the 4th fret of strings 2, 3, and 4 with our pinky, ring finger, and middle finger. Then we have the easiest chord, A minor 7, all open strings. And then we have a beautiful E sus 4 chord. Here we're going to play the 4th fret of strings 3 and 4 with our middle and ring fingers. Now in this chord you may notice that the 2nd and 3rd strings are playing the exact same note. Then in line 4 we have my favorite chord in the bridge. This is a D minor 7 flatted 5 chord. Now when forming this chord shape, I like to think about taking our standard G chord shape and moving it back 1 fret and then moving this position up 1 string before we place down our pinky. So here we have our index and middle fingers on the 1st fret of strings 4 and 2, our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then we're also going to place down our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Next we go back to E minor, then to D minor 7, and then we have our standard G chord. Here we have our index and middle fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then we end the bridge on a G7 chord. So here we have our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and our middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1. Next, we'll look at how to strum the song. We'll use two strumming patterns, one for chords that are held for 3 beats, and the other for chords that are held for 9 beats. Our first pattern covers 3 beats, and it's 1 down strum. So the rhythm here is 1, 2, 3. Now you can play this as a quick down strum, or you can play it as more of an arpeggio or a broken chord. Our second pattern covers 9 beats, and it consists of 3 down strums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now for this pattern as well, you can use a standard down strum, or maybe for the first or third down strum in the pattern, you may want to play an arpeggio. Now to apply these patterns to the song, the chords that appear in standard font are held for 3 beats, and for these chords we'll play pattern 1, and for the chords that appear in bold, these chords are held for 9 beats, and we'll apply pattern 2. Now let's walk through verse 1, counting out the rhythm, applying both patterns, starting on F. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you're enjoying this lesson, I would love it if you leave me a comment below, and please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help to support my channel. If you'd like to download the song sheet for Send in the Clowns, including the lyrics, chords, patterns, and solo, you'll find it on my Patreon page. The link is down below in the video description. Next, we'll look at how to fingerpick the song using 2 fingerpicking patterns, one that covers 3 beats and the other that covers 9 beats. Our first pattern covers 3 beats. So the rhythm here is 1, 2, 3. We're starting with our thumb on the 4th string, index finger on the 3rd string, and then our middle and ring fingers on strings 1 and 2. Our second fingerpicking pattern covers 9 beats. So the rhythm here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. To play this pattern, I like to use my thumb, index finger, middle finger, and ring finger on strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we'll start on the 4th string, then we'll pick strings 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Now to apply these patterns to the song, we're going to use pattern 1 on chords in standard font, as these chords are held for 3 beats. And for the chords that appear in bold, we're going to use pattern 2, as these chords are held for 9 beats. Now let's walk through verse 1, applying both patterns and counting out the rhythm at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we've come to our fingerstyle solo. We're going to walk through how to play each measure, step by step, and I'll also play each line for you at a slow tempo, counting out the rhythm. For the solo, I've started measure 1 with a C chord that ends verse 3. Here we're playing pattern 2, and then our melody begins. So here we're going to pick the first fret of the second string with our index finger, followed by the third fret with our ring finger, and then we'll place down our pinky on the third fret of the first string. In measure 2, we'll keep our pinky in place and lift up our other fingers to play an arpeggio through all 4 strings. Then we'll play the open 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings twice. Then we're going to play the same notes that ended measure 1. And then measure 3 begins the same way as measure 2. And then to end measure 3, we'll play the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with our middle finger, followed by the open 2nd string, and then the open 3rd string. In measure 4, we're going to place our middle finger back down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then we'll play the open 2nd string twice, and then we'll lift up our middle finger to play an arpeggio on all open strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll pick the open 2nd string one more time. Then we'll place our ring finger on the 3rd fret. Then we finish measure 4 with the open 4th string. Note that all of the measures in this solo are in 12/8 time, except for measure 4. So we're going to count 12/8 notes in each measure, except for measure 4 is in 9/8 time, so it consists of only 9/8 notes. Now let's count the rhythm of measures 1 through 4 at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We begin measure 5 on the 2nd fret of the 4th string using our middle finger, followed by the open 3rd and 2nd strings, then the 1st fret of the 2nd string, then the open 2nd string, open 3rd string, and back to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, where our middle finger is still in place. Then we're going to play the open strings 3, 2, and 1. Then we'll play the 3rd fret of the 1st string, followed by the 1st fret of the 2nd string. In measure 6, we'll place our ring finger down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string to play an arpeggio on strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll play the open strings 4, 3, and 2, then a second time, and then just strings 4 and 3, and then at the end of measure 6 we'll form our F chord to play strings 4, 3, and 2. In measure 7 we're going to begin with all open strings 2, 4, 3, 2, and then 4, 3, 2 again. And then we end measure 7 on our finger picking pattern 1 on our F chord that begins verse 4. Now here's how we count the rhythm of measures 5, 6, and 7 at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 6,